What's that in the distance? Oh no! Is it a giant corporeal entity wielding a flaming sword of righteousness and apocalyptic energy? Or is it an anomalous monolithic sea serpent that spans the length of an entire ocean that presumably could wrap itself around this fair planet that we call home just for the sake of it? Or is it both of them, locked in an eternal battle to see just exactly who or what can take down the Giant Eel of Doom and become the undisputed titan of life's biggest questions, and once and for all become the ultimate victor of this continued hypothetical campaign of chaos? Well, yeah. It's exactly that actually, so let's find out what kind of destruction would be fraught should they ever get into a metaphorical fistfight. Hello internet, what's going on? And once again, welcome back to the most inquisitive channel on YouTube, Life's Biggest Questions. As per usual, I'll be your disembodied floating voice, Jack Finches. Today, we curiously ask the question, what if SCP-3000 fought the Gate Guardian? Roll the clip.
Night. Dark things from the sea's depths.
For the curious amongst you, of course, that scene was from 2007's Beowulf, starring the one and only Ray Winston as the mightiest warrior of the Age of Heroes himself, depicting the legendary tale of Beowulf and the many monsters that he has slain, Grendel and his mother included. And if we're being honest, that's probably the closest that we'll ever get to visually describing one of the many ways that this hypothetical battle would or could go down. Just instead of Beowulf measuring in at around 6 foot, imagine him being much taller, like several buildings tall. And also he'd be covered in all-consuming heavenly flames, and he'd also wield a massive sword actually that burns hotter than the sun. Yeah. We should probably explain. You see, as is the case in these continued hypothetical battles, describing the features of these particular entities is one of our first ports of call when heading into the nitty-gritty. You see, it makes all the difference to know what kind of anomalous instances are lurking within their arsenal. And now, if you haven't seen or heard of SCP-3000, it probably goes without saying, but you should check out our specific Life's Biggest Questions breakdown on the inner workings of this anomalous entity. But for the uninitiated amongst you, well, we'll give a brief overview to set the scene. As the record states, SCP-3000 is a massive aquatic serpentine entity strongly resembling that of a giant moray eel that is exclusively found lingering at the bottom of the Bay of Bengal off the southeast coast of the Indian subcontinent. As you may imagine, down to its impossibly large size, it is hypothesized that SCP-3000 measures anywhere between 600 and 900 kilometers in length, and well, if you just so happen to be a cartographer, you know that that covers pretty much the entire length of the Indian subcontinental coast. It's big, guys. And given the fact that it's impossibly huge, like most serpentine monsters of legend, it is also carnivorous, where it regularly feasts upon unassuming Foundation researchers and any scuba divers that are unfortunate enough to find themselves paddling in the darkest part of SCP-3000's depths. Here's where things get a little bit interesting though, and where most other contenders of this giant anomalous eel have been brought to ruin. You see, what sets SCP-3000 apart is that after feasting on human flesh, it excretes a thin layer of a viscous dark grey substance from its skin, known to the Foundation as Y909, which is the primary ingredient in one of the Foundation's most important logistical technologies, amnestics, the aerosol chemical compositional substances that wipes the memory of any given individual, often used to protect them from certain anomalous hazards or, make them forget what they've seen. You see, this anomalous giant eel jelly has the power of influencing its victims at a cerebral level, essentially turning SCP-3000 into an all-powerful mind-controlling serpent that could probably destroy humanity with the flick of its flipper, if eels had flippers, that is. This factor has pretty much rendered any opponent of SCP-3000 null and void, but wait, because this guy waiting in the wings, which has wings, the subject of Dr. Clef's proposal, which forms one of the many possibilities of what the coveted SCP-001 could possibly be, is perhaps one of, if not the most powerful entity in the canon of the SCP Foundation, the Gate Guardian. And well, this may be a pretty short battle, actually. As the record states, the Gate Guardian is a humanoid entity measuring at approximately 700 cubits in length, or 320 meters, which is roughly the size of around 10 blue whales stacked end to end. It possesses a wide number of luminous wing-like appendages that emerge from its shoulders, as well as its back, temples, ankles, and wrists, the amount of which differs per observation, anywhere from 2 to 108. And then perhaps the most important facet of the Gate Guardian is that it is in possession of an object referred to as SCP-001, a weapon, possibly a sword or a large knife, that appears to emit flames at a temperature based on spectrographic analysis that rivals that of the sun. You see, any entity that approaches within 1 kilometer of the Gate Guardian is immediately struck by the weapon and obliterated from all existence. So far, any and all hostile actions taken toward the Gate Guardian has so far resulted in the complete and utter annihilation of the attacker at a subatomic level, regardless of range. And yeah, under that assumption, you would assume that SCP-3000 doesn't really stand a chance at all. Poof, gone. Giant 600-kilometer long eel gets vaporized at an atomic level from any location by the sheer destructive power of the anomalous heavens. Game over. Job done. You see, purely from an experimental basis, the SCP Foundation have thrown literally everything at the Gate Guardian in an attempt to figure out just how it worked. They've sent Class D personnel at it in their droves, remotely operated robots and drones, entire arsenals of missiles of the multi-warhead intercontinental ballistic variety, all to no avail. Not even the most powerful of friendly SCP entities, if you could call them that, SCP-076 and SCP-073 included, would dare to go near it. It is impossible, and by that logic, even if somehow SCP-3000 hypothetically slithered down the Euphrates River to combat it, it wouldn't ever get close enough to take a chomp out of it, and so it would be vaporized the very moment it came into its proximity. We've got a new winner. However, there is one anomalous anomaly that remains to be tested that has so far affected the results of our previous SCP-3000 based battles. You see, we have no idea how the Gate Guardian would react to the properties of amnestics, and given the fact that SCP-3000 is the literal source of this mind control power and not just some washed out, distilled, chemically restructured component, then there is a plausible potential of SCP-3000 not yet demonstrating its true anomalous power. Perhaps, given some of these hypothetical play-by-plays in one of these scenarios, instead of getting instantly vaporized, SCP-3000 would manage to affect the mind of the Gate Guardian, and then presumably would have the most powerful entity in the entire SCP Foundation at its disposal. Maybe in that sense, SCP-3000 would be the serpent thought to bring about the end of the world, and with all the biblical references alluded to in the canon of the Gate Guardian, hey, maybe we're just looking at the perfect ingredients for the apocalypse. Uh-oh. Well, there we have it, guys, our long and short answer to the question, what if SCP-3000 fought the Gate Guardian? The Gate Guardian would either destroy it at an atomic level without breaking a sweat, or perhaps, well, it'd bring about the end of the world. What do you guys think? Do you agree, disagree, have any more to add to this SCP-based showdown? Then let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Before we depart from today's video, though, let's first take a quick look at some of your more creative comments from over the past few days. History Call General says, "Who loves Jack's voice? I just love his voice." Aw. Thank you, Guy, but when you're of the disembodied floating variety, a voice it's all you have, really. So lonely out here. Well, on that note, unfortunately this is all we've got time for in today's video. Just stick around all the way until the end. If you were a fan of this video or just life's biggest questions in general, then please be a dear, hit that thumbs up button, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. As per usual, I've been your disembodied floating voice, Jack Finch. You've been watching Life's Biggest Questions, and until next time, well, you take it easy.